speaking activities, and we warm up each lesson with something related to pronunciation or connected speech. There are also pronunciation video lessons included, and I'm going to teach you some of the language nuances, like when to use certain words and phrases. So click on the link down below if you'd like to sign up or learn more about the course, and I hope to speak to you soon. Now, let's start this vocabulary marathon, and I am sure that you are going to learn some new words and phrases. Would you like to sound smarter when you're speaking in English? Of course you do. So that's why today I'm going to tell you 10 different adjectives to help you sound smarter. So the adjectives that I'm going to talk to you about today are a little more academic, and they're great adjectives because they're very descriptive, very precise. And that is a great way to improve your fluency because you're better able to express your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas. And they just so happen to be 10 of my favorite adjectives that I like to use because I want to sound smart. So I'm going to give you the pronunciation of these adjectives. I'm going to tell you what they mean and how they're commonly used. So let's begin. The first word is ubiquitous. And ubiquitous has 4 syllables. That first syllable is just like you're saying the letter U. Ubiquitous. And the stress is going to be on that second syllable. Ubiquitous. 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 Ubiquitous means existing or being everywhere. It is something that you see everywhere you go. It could be a shop, a store, and you find it all over the world. For example, you have companies that you see everywhere, like Starbucks, McDonald's. Wherever you go, whether you like it or not, you see these places. They are ubiquitous. It could also be used to talk about maybe a word, phrase, or expression that you might commonly hear that is ubiquitous. You hear it all the time. You wouldn't really use it to talk about a person that you see all the time because, again, there is only one person. Ubiquitous is talking about something where there is a lot. It is a lot more than just one. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Local coffee shops are ubiquitous in my hometown.
Oh.
The next word is cumbersome. The word cumbersome has 3 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. Cumbersome. Cumbersome. And something that is cumbersome is something that is difficult, something that is burdensome, and usually it's often talking about something that is physical, that is difficult to move or carry, maybe because it has an awkward shape, or maybe it's really heavy and is cumbersome to move something from one place to another. It's not always used to talk about an object. It can be used to talk about a situation as well, something that is difficult, problematic. We could say that it is cumbersome. It's a cumbersome situation, a cumbersome challenge, a cumbersome life. Moving the furniture outside was really cumbersome. The next adjective, and it's one of my favorites because, well, it kind of describes me, is facetious. Facetious has 3 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. It's like you're just saying the letter C. Facetious. And that first syllable has that schwa, that sound. Facetious. Facetious. Facetious means not to be taken literal or serious. And I would say it's kind of in between a joke and a lie. And you're almost kind of teasing somebody when you're being facetious. You're saying something that is so ridiculous, it's so outlandish that the other person or people, they shouldn't take you seriously because what you're saying is so ridiculous. You are being facetious.
Don't listen to him.
He's being facetious. Next is arduous. And arduous has 3 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. Arduous. Now, you don't hear that D sound that much. It's not very strong. It almost sounds a little like a J. Arduous. Arduous. And something that is arduous is
Difficult because it requires a lot of exertion, a lot of
thought, a lot of energy. And it's often used to describe something that you have to do, like a task, an arduous task, an arduous problem, an arduous chore. It requires a lot of exertion, and it's because of that, it's just really difficult. It's arduous. Building the sandcastle was an arduous task. Next is presumptuous. And presumptuous has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. And the S almost sounds a little more like a Z, presumptuous. Presumptuous. And if somebody is being presumptuous, then that just means that they're showing little or no respect for others by doing something that they shouldn't be doing. They're being presumptuous, thinking that they can do this or that when they shouldn't do it. It's presumptuous. For example, if you go over to a friend's place, most of us don't just walk inside their home or apartment.
You knock on the door
because it's polite, it's respectful. If you just walk inside like you own the place, then you would be presumptuous. It was presumptuous of him to think that this was a date. She just thought they were friends. Next is pensive. And the pronunciation, very easy, just 2 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. Pensive. Pensive. Now, if somebody is pensive, that just means that they are in deep thought. They're really thinking about or reflecting on something. It's almost like a dream-like state. You're in such deep thought, you've just tuned out the rest of the world. You would say that this person is pensive, or somebody might look pensive. And usually if somebody is pensive, it's because something requires that deep thought. It could be something serious, it could be something bad or unfortunate that makes somebody pensive and really have to think about something. She's thinking about her friend in the hospital. She looks pensive.
She looks pensive.
The next adjective, which is another one that I really like, is circuitous. And circuitous has 4 syllables, and there's a few things going on with the pronunciation. In the first syllable, that C is going to have more of an S sound, circuitous. The stress is going to be on that second syllable, and that CU it's kind of like you're saying the letter Q, circuitous. Circuitous. And circuitous is talking about a very roundabout way to get somewhere, where you're just not taking the most direct route. And I think we've all probably tried to go somewhere, and maybe we got a little lost, and we went way out of our way, and we ended up taking a circuitous route. And frequently it's used with this word when talking about the direction that you go, a circuitous route, a circuitous path. And it is just this windy, roundabout way that you try to go and get somewhere circuitous. We took a circuitous route to reach our destination. Next is conscientious. And this is a great adjective to describe maybe yourself or someone else. And I think the pronunciation is what makes many learners avoid this word, because they look at it and think, what's going on there? So conscientious has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that third syllable, that N, conscientious, conscientious. That second syllable is what really confuses people, because that SCI almost sounds like you're saying she. Conscientious, conscientious. And someone who is conscientious just means that they have a moral responsibility to do their work carefully, and also, treat others with respect and be fair to others. Someone who's conscientious is really able to put themselves in another person's shoes and really see how they feel and empathize with them. They are aware of their surroundings, and because of that, we would say they are conscientious. Great word. She's very conscientious of her health. The next word is meticulous. And this word has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. Meticulous, meticulous. That first syllable also has that schwa, that sound, that reduced vowel sound. Meticulous. This is another word that I like because I think it does describe me in many situations. If someone is meticulous, that means that they try to pay really close attention to the details. They're meticulous in their work. They're focused on the details, and they want to make sure every little thing is in order. Someone is meticulous. Now, it's usually, I think it is a good thing when you're talking about somebody's work that you want to pay close attention to the details so you don't miss anything and be very meticulous. He's meticulous with his designs. The final adjective that I have for you is convoluted. Convoluted also has 4 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. Convoluted. That second syllable, again, has that schwa sound, that reduced vowel sound. Convoluted. Convoluted. If something is convoluted, it means that it is extremely difficult to follow because things are connected and intertwined and mixed around in a way that's difficult to understand. That means that something is convoluted. It can be used to describe a story or an argument or maybe even a sentence that is hard to follow and it doesn't make much sense. It's convoluted. The story was convoluted because there were so many different people involved. So those are 10.
Hi, welcome back to Fancy Cheese Sunday. Today we are trying a Jarlsberg. It says it's a semi-soft, hard skim cheese. It doesn't say what type of cheese it is. I'm kind of nervous about this one. I feel like it's going to be like probably just a processed cheese. The smell is really weird. It smells like Halloween mask. Kind of like got that latex with paint and sweat smell. So I guess we'll slice it up and see if it tastes any better than it smells. Those are really soft. You just squeeze it. It kind of has like the little holes in it, like Swiss does, but don't think this is a Swiss cheese. It tastes exactly like it smells, and it's kind of chewy, like rubbery. It just tastes like you're chewing a mask. I'm gonna try one more bite. No, it's no good at all. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting this one at all. I don't even know what type of cheese it is. Just hard skim cheese. Yeah, if you have tried it, let me know if you did like it. But I wouldn't suggest this one. I don't know what you could do with it to make it taste good, what you'd put it on. It's just
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of money.
Next is conscientious. And this is a great adjective to describe maybe yourself or someone else. And I think the pronunciation is what makes many learners avoid this word because they look at it and think, what's going on there? So conscientious has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that third syllable, that N, conscientious, conscientious. That second syllable is what really confuses people because that SCI almost sounds like you're saying she. Conscientious, conscientious. And someone who is conscientious just means that they have a moral responsibility to do their work carefully and also, treat others with respect and be fair to others. Someone who's conscientious is really able to put themselves in another person's shoes and really see how they feel and empathize with them. They are aware of their surroundings, and because of that, we would say they are conscientious. Great word. She's very conscientious of her health. The next word is meticulous, and this word has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. Meticulous. Meticulous. That first syllable also has that schwa, that sound, that reduced vowel sound. Meticulous. This is another word that I like because I think it does describe me in many situations. If someone is meticulous, that means that they try to pay really close attention to the details. They're meticulous in their work. They're focused on the details, and they want to make sure every little thing is in order. Someone is meticulous. Now, it's usually, I think it is a good thing when you're talking about somebody's work that you want to pay close attention to the details so you don't miss anything and be very meticulous. He's meticulous with his designs. The final adjective that I have for you is convoluted. Convoluted also has 4 syllables, and the stress is on the first syllable. Convoluted. That second syllable, again, has that schwa sound, that reduced vowel sound. Convoluted. Convoluted. If something is convoluted, it means that it is extremely difficult to follow because things are connected and intertwined and mixed around in a way that's difficult to understand. That means that something is convoluted. It can be used to describe a story or an argument or maybe even a sentence that is hard to follow and it doesn't make much sense. It's convoluted. The story was convoluted because there were so many different people involved. So those are 10 super awesome adjectives that will help you sound smarter
When you're having a conversation in English.
It'll also help you be more descriptive when you're expressing your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions. So please use those adjectives. Welcome to today's lesson, which is more of a vocabulary lesson because I'm going to talk to you about 10 amazing adjectives that you can use to sound more academic, more professional, and more competent when you're speaking English. And these are not words that you're going to hear every day on the street. Instead, you're more likely to hear these adjectives in presentations, debates, or in-depth conversations that are a bit more serious because these are words that sound more professional, more convincing, and they give us a bit more authority when we're speaking about a topic. So I'm going to tell you the adjective, show you how it's phonetically pronounced, give you the meaning as well as a sentence so you can see how it's used in context.
Are you ready?
Let's begin. So the first adjective I have for you is germane.
Germane.
Now this is 2 syllables and the stress is on the second syllable. Germane. And it means that something is relevant, that it is closely related to something else. And we could use it in a sentence and say,
Your statements are not germane to the central argument.
The next word, and it's one that I really like, is preposterous. And this adjective has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. Preposterous. And remember that O-U-S has that schwa, that us sound. And this means that something is contrary to reason, it's just ridiculous, it's absurd. And the way it's used is somebody would usually say something and it's ridiculous, it's absurd, and the other person would say, that's preposterous.
That's absurd. That's
preposterous. You're not going to like this video? That's preposterous. Next is a very cool word, and that is perfunctory. And perfunctory has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, that funk, perfunctory. That third syllable has the schwa, and it's going to end with that long E sound. Perfunctory, perfunctory. truculent. So it's not a good word. It kind of means that this person is upset with you, maybe because of something you said, and they're just being a bit cruel. They're truculent. They're standoffish. Sometimes when I've had a really bad day and I don't want to talk to people and I'm just upset, I can be kind of truculent with others if they're trying to approach me and I don't want to deal with anybody. I can be truculent. A great example would be in politics. People, maybe they do something wrong and the media wants to talk to them about it, and they're angry, they don't want to speak to the media, and they might be truculent. So we could say politicians are sometimes truculent with the media. Another great word is this one right here, austere. And this has two syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable with that long E sound, austere. And if somebody or something is austere, it means that they're very severe in their manner. They're very strict, or even without excess. Austere. Her austere manner intimidated the students. The next adjective, which is one of my favorites, is capricious. And this word has three syllables, and the stress is on the second syllable. And keep in mind that first syllable has that schwa sound, that capricious. Capricious. And if someone or something is capricious, then that just means that they are subject to sudden or even unpredictable change. Capricious. So you could say a person is capricious. Perhaps the weather is capricious. Or maybe even your plans are capricious. They're subject to change. And I could use it in an example sentence and say, I can never get her to commit to a time because she's so capricious. Next is the word defamatory. And this word has 5 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable. Defamatory. Defamatory. It's not a good adjective because if something is defamatory, we're talking about false or unjustified harm caused to one's reputation. And we could use it in an example sentence and say, the president's defamatory remarks startled everyone. The next word, which is another one of my favorite adjectives, is esoteric. And this word has 4 syllables, and the stress is on that third syllable, esoteric. And when we describe something as esoteric, we're talking about something that's really understood by a small group of people because they have knowledge or interest in that thing. Usually it's somebody that has direct experience with it, so we say that it is esoteric. For example, somebody could have esoteric knowledge about something. Maybe they have an esoteric experience because there's just a few people that really understand and know what it's like. I spent 6 months in the woods hiking the Appalachian Trail. It was an esoteric experience. Another great adjective is nascent. And this word has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable. It has the long A sound, nascent. That second syllable has that schwa, nascent. And if something is nascent, then that just means it's beginning to exist or beginning to develop. It's at the early stages. It is nascent. And we can use it in a sentence and say, the project is at a nascent stage of development.
Would you still go to your job if Amazon sent you a paycheck every 2 weeks? Because there's a little loophole on Amazon right now.
Another very cool adjective is quintessential, and this word has 4 syllables, and the stress is on the third syllable. Quintessential. Quintessential. And when we say that something is quintessential, it means that it is representing just the most perfect example. It's quintessential. Now, let me give you the quintessential example sentence. Interactive English is the quintessential channel to learn, practice, and improve your English skills. If you agree with that last sentence, please, please, please show us some love and hit that like button down below. Welcome to today's lesson. It is a super awesome, amazing vocabulary lesson because I'm going to teach you 10 different verbs to help you sound smarter. And I say that they help you sound smarter because these are more advanced verbs. These are advanced vocabulary words that are very specific, very precise, that you can use in certain situations so that that you can perfectly express your ideas, thoughts, and opinions and say exactly what you want to say. These verbs are going to help you do just that. Now, I'm not only going to tell you the verb and the meaning, but I'm also going to give you the pronunciation as well as an example sentence so that you can see how these words are used in context. That's very important. So, without further ado, let's begin. The first word is to admonish. And admonish has 3 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, mon, admonish. And this is a verb that we use with a direct object, to admonish someone, usually for doing something wrong, because what it means is to counsel or advise against something. It's kind of like you're scolding somebody in a way, but not because you are super angry and they did something really terrible, but they just did something wrong and it's not correct. Maybe it was a little rude.
You just interrupted me again while I was admonishing you for interrupting me.
Have you ever been admonished for doing something? I definitely have been admonished for many things in my life. The parents admonish their child for telling a lie. The next wonderful verb is to advocate. This word has 3 syllables, and the stress is on that first syllable, advocate. And to advocate means to show strong support for something. It could be support for a policy, it could be support for an issue, and you advocate for it. We often use it with the preposition for. You advocate for something when you are really passionate about something. You really, really, really believe in it, and you want to advocate for this thing. The teachers advocated for better pay. The next verb is to bemoan, and this verb has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, moan, bemoan. You may also notice that word in that second syllable, which kind of shares a similar meaning to the verb to bemoan, which means you are basically expressing that you are upset, you are distressed about something. It's kind of like you're complaining and you might bemoan a situation that you are in. You might bemoan someone's decision if you disagree with it and you don't like it. You're not very happy with something that happened and you bemoan the situation. Oh, she bemoaned having to look for another flight. The next verb is compel. This word has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, compel. And what it means is to force or drive or maybe even encourage somebody to do something, some course of action, to do something that you want them to do. You really want to convince them to do something. Sometimes it can be done by force. You compel someone to do something because maybe you're threatening them in some way, shape, or form, and you are compelling them to do what you want them to do.
The power of Christ that compels you!
But you're really just trying to get somebody to do this thing, to compel someone to do something. The police compelled him to tell the truth. The next verb is a good one. Embezzle, to embezzle. This verb has 3 syllables and the stress is on that second syllable, embezzle, embezzle. And what it means is to take money or maybe even property, but most of the time we're talking about money, and to do it in a fraudulent way. People are creating some false records, some false receipts, and they are taking that extra money and stealing it, and they are embezzling the money. You can embezzle money from a company, you can embezzle money from a bank.
Lloyd Gross is a fictional salesman we invented to, how do I put this, steal from the company, embezzle, to commit fraud.
I just got fired from Sweetums.
Because you were embezzling.
Now, if you do this, it's a crime, so it is not a good verb. It's not a verb that you want to be associated with. The accountant embezzled millions of dollars from the company. The next verb is extol, to extol. This word has 2 syllables, and the stress is on that second syllable, extol. And what it means is to praise highly, to give a lot of high praise, to someone or to something. Oftentimes you might extol someone during a eulogy. If there is a funeral and a person is giving a eulogy and talking about the person that has passed away, you want to talk about all of the good things that this person did. You want to give them a lot of praise, and you would extol this person. You can also use it talking about places or things. If you really just want to speak highly of it, extol. She extolled the beauty of modern art. Next is the verb impugn, to impugn. This word has 2 syllables and the stress is on that second syllable, impugn. And what it means is to claim that something is false, to say that, to challenge it and say that it's not true, and kind of cast doubt upon this situation or even this person.
So because of a few bad apples, you can impugn an entire continent?
I'm impugning a continent.
A lot of times you might hear it with the word character, to impugn someone's character. Basically saying that this person should not be believed, that they say things that are false, they're dishonest, and you're trying to cast doubt over the things that this person is talking about when you impugn someone's character.
Mr. Chairman, if she's going to impugn his character while he's speaking...
It's not a good verb. It's not something that we should try to do, but this is a situation that happens, and it's a great way to describe it, to impugn someone or something. They tried to impugn her character with false accusations. Another great verb, which is one of my favorites, is obfuscate. This verb has 3 syllables and the stress is on that first syllable, obfuscate. And what it means to obfuscate something is to confuse or bewilder and just try to create a confusing situation so that it's really difficult to understand.